Hello guys, I am Vishali Kikan. We are discussing thermochemistry or energetics. So let's start our discussion with the first question of the day, which states, arrange the following compounds in order of increasing lattice enthalpy: BaCl2, LiF and ZnS. We should know what are the factors that determine the lattice enthalpy for the given compound, right? So the factor that determines enthalpy is the charge on the ion, right? We have to see the different charges on different ions. In ZnS we have 2 positive and 2 negative ion. In BaCl2 we have 2 positive and 1 negative ion. In LiF we have 1 positive and 1 negative ion. So you can see the maximum charge is present in ZnS, then BaCl2 and then LiF. So order of increasing lattice enthalpy, highest lattice enthalpy would be for ZnS, then for BaCl2 and least for LiF. I hope you understood this. Coming to the calculation of entropy change for a reaction, and we are going to see an example for this as well. So now entropy change can be worked out from the standard entropies. We should know what are the standard entropies. The entropy change is total entropy of product minus the total entropy of reactants, and these entropies we are dealing in standard entropy. So delta S is equal to summation of delta S of products minus summation of delta S of reactants. So this is the example. Calculate standard entropy change for this reaction. N2 plus 3H2 gives 2NH3. So delta S is present in joule per Kelvin per mole. For N2 it is 192 joule per Kelvin per mole. For H2 it is 131 joule per Kelvin per mole. For NH3 it is 193 joule per Kelvin per mole. So delta S will be twice into the entropy of the NH3, which is twice into 193 minus the entropy of the reactants. So for N2 it is 192 and for H2 it is 131. So it is 3 times, so 3 into 131. So the total entropy change would be 199 joule per Kelvin per mole. Coming to the next question, consider the decomposition of MgNO3 as 2 MgNO3 gives 2 MgO plus 4 NO2 plus O2. Now delta HF is given, S is given, right? So for MgNO3 it is minus 790, 164. For MgO it is minus 602, 27. For 4 NO2 it is 34 and 240. For O2 it is 0 and then 205. The question number A is, use the following data to work out delta G and hence find out whether or not the reaction will be spontaneous at 25 degrees Celsius. The second question is, as the temperature increased from absolute 0, work out the temperature in degrees Celsius at which the reaction first becomes spontaneous. So we know what is delta H. It is the summation of delta HF of products minus summation of formation enthalpy of reactants. Now delta H is given as, what are the products? Products over here are 2 MgO, 4 NO2 and O2. So we know delta H value. So 2 into minus 602 plus 4 into 34 plus 0 minus the enthalpy for the reactants. It is twice of MgNO3. So minus 2 into 790. So when I found out this, it will be 512 kilojoule per mole. Similarly, I can find out delta S, that is summation of delta S of products minus summation of delta S of reactants. So delta S is also given. So now here twice of MgO, which means twice of 27, plus 4 times of NO2, which means this is for NO2, so 4 times of 240, right? Then we have for O2. This is 205, so plus 205 minus the twice of entropy for MgNO3 2, so that is minus 2 into 164, that is 891 joule per Kelvin per mole. So at 298 Kelvin, we know the formula of delta G, which is delta H minus T delta S, right? So now we can put the value of delta H, right? Delta H is 512, right? And what is delta S? 891. So here we have in the kilojoule value, here we have in the joule. So we will be dividing it by 1000. At the temperature is 298. So 512 minus 298 into 891 upon 1000, which gives me 246 kilojoule per mole. Now here you can see delta G is positive. When the delta G is positive, the reaction is not spontaneous, right? So now when the delta S is positive, the temperature is increasing. So delta S positive becomes more and more positive as the temperature is increasing. So the T delta S will become larger. Obviously, if I increase temperature, which means delta S will increase, okay, entropy will increase with higher temperature, and the T delta S will become higher. So if delta S is increasing, T is increasing, so T delta S will increase. So now here this factor is increasing and this is constant. So at some point delta G will become 0, and when the delta G will become 0, the reaction after this temperature is taken as T1, and at the temperature greater than T1 reaction will become spontaneous. So what we have to find out? We have to find out the temperature at which delta G is 0. So let's put delta G is 0. So here delta H is given, T we have to find out. So 0 is equal to 512 minus T into 891 upon 1000. So T will be equal to 575 Kelvin, that is 302 degrees Celsius, after which this reaction will become spontaneous. Coming to the Gibbs free energy and equilibrium. So now here we are understanding this with the help of Haber's process. Haber's process is N2 plus 3H2 gives 2NH3. So this is the formation of ammonia. So here if you see delta G, it is minus 33. So it is spontaneous because delta G is negative, right? So forward reaction is spontaneous, whereas reverse reaction is not spontaneous. For the reverse reaction, delta G will be plus 33, so it is not spontaneous. Now if I talk about equilibrium, equilibrium can be reached in either of the direction, right? Even if you have the initial products N2 plus 3H2, then also equilibrium condition will be reached where we have the condition where we have the reactants as well as products as well, right? And even if I am starting with NH3, if I am starting with 2NH3, and then also there will be an equilibrium condition achieved where we have the products as well as reactants. The equilibrium mixture will be having the least Gibbs free energy and it will be having the highest entropy than the pure products, right? And this is the advantage of the equilibrium mixture. It is shifting from the equilibrium increase in the G, right? So as I shift from the equilibrium condition, so this is the graph which shows the variation of Gibbs free energy delta G for a reaction where the delta G is negative. So in both of the direction you can see delta G is negative. So this is the reactant, pure reactant, this is the pure product, right? So now this is the G for pure product, this is the G for pure reactant, this is the delta G for the formation of product, and this is the minimum G that is for the equilibrium, right? So now here equilibrium will be lowest here, and if I shift from here, G is increasing, right? In both of the direction G is increasing, right? So now here 1 represents the Gibbs free energy of pure reactants, 2 represents the Gibbs free energy of pure product, and here this represents Gibbs free energy of pure product, this 2 represents equilibrium position. Now here in this condition you can see G is negative. Now here again equilibrium we are seeing. Now equilibrium will be at this point, equilibrium here is closer to the product. So here we will be having more of product at the equilibrium position. Now you can see here G is positive, delta G is positive. You can see delta G is this, which is positive, and this is the equilibrium condition where we will be having more of reactants. So I hope you understood all of the things. Thank you so much.